Hello, my name is Ann Purvis, and I am one of the leaders of the TFN Juniors program. Our challenge to the TFN Juniors this past week was to find dragonflies. We suggested that they seek dragonflies where there's ponds, where there's streams, where there's marshes. Some of our dragonflies have migrated to Ontario from other parts of the U.S., such as the springtime darner. Others have overwintered here as nymphs in our waterways, and at this time of year they're beginning to climb the stems of cattails and emerge from their exoskeletons and fly around and hunt as air-breathing insects. Last week, our artist, Sandra, led us in an activity of drawing a dragonfly. Florence submitted this dragonfly that she drew, which is absolutely spectacular. Thank you, Florence. This is the dragonfly I drew, and I have to say that I've been delighted at how much I've noticed since I've started trying to draw from nature. I noticed all the detail in the wings and the direction of the veins and etc. When we're dragonfly watching, there's certain things that we can notice which will help us to place dragonflies in the family they belong to, and to also eventually identify genus and species, to learn which other dragonflies they're related to, what their life cycle is, etc. So one of the things we can notice is their eyes. Many dragonflies have very large eyes that meet on the top of their head. The color of eyes is also important for identifying many dragonflies. The next thing is the thorax. So the thorax is the part of the body right behind the head, and some dragonfly thoraxes have very distinctive stripes or spots, coloration that is a giveaway. The forewings and the hind wings are also important to notice. Some dragonflies have colorful splotches on their wings, and also the position they hold their wings can be diagnostic. So some dragonflies will hold their wings forward on each side of their head as they're resting. Some dragonflies will rest in a vertical position, and these help us to place the dragonfly in the family they belong to. The abdomen is very important. The abdomen is quite colorful, and the details of the striping and the coloration will really help us a lot. And finally, at the end of the abdomen are the cerci, which are more distinctive in the male. So these are two damselflies. Damselflies are close relatives of dragonflies. How do we tell that we're looking at a damselfly rather than a dragonfly? It's the way that they hold their wings, almost butterfly-like, above their abdomen together. There is one genus of damselflies, the spread wings, that do tend to hold their wings out, but mostly this is a very good opportunity to recognize that it is a damselfly. These two damselflies look very similar to each other at first blush. If we start at the eyes, we can see that they both have these turquoise eye spots just above their eyes, and the thorax has turquoise striping on it that runs the same direction and really looks identical. But when we look closely at the abdomen, we can see that the skimming bluet has very narrow blue turquoise stripes on the abdomen, and the Hagen's bluet has these long, colorful turquoise stripes. So the next two dragonflies we're going to look at belong to the skimmers. The skimmers tend to be dragonflies that are stockier. They have a rather thick abdomen, and some of them are very colorful, very brightly colored, and often they have big blotches of color on their wings. So the chalk-fronted corporal often rests like this. I saw this particular dragonfly resting on a dock, often rests like this in a horizontal position on a light-colored background. This is another skimmer. This is a female widow skimmer, and you can see that this is an example of a skimmer that has big blotches of color at the base of the wings, big brown eyes that meet in the center of the body, and this very distinctive yellow abdomen with a black arrow. There is another whole family of dragonflies called the darners, and the darners rest in this vertical position. They hang from a branch like this, and you often find them like this. So this is a springtime darner, which migrates to Ontario from the southern US, so you see it very early in the season. And this is the Canada darner. So darners not only rest in a vertical position, but they are the only dragonfly with these kind of blue patches on their abdomen. They also have very large eyes that meet in the middle of their head. So we'd like to invite you now to consider doing the word search of dragonfly families in Ontario. And just underneath the word search are a couple of really interesting resources that you might be interested in looking at. One shows the metamorphosis of a dragonfly from nymph to adult, and the other is a link to the Ontario Nature site where they go into much more detail about the different dragonflies and their life cycles and give you many more clues to identifying them.